Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through and decluttering all of my primers, so let's go ahead and get started. Alright, first I'm going to go through my eyeshadow primers because I only have a few. First thing I have is the Milani eyeshadow primer, and this is my favorite eyeshadow primer of all time. I really stand by this. I don't think that you need any other eyeshadow primer ever. This is the only eyeshadow primer you ever need. It goes on kind of sheer. So I guess if you really need to cover up like discoloration or something, you might want a more pigmented eyeshadow primer. But this one holds every single shadow I've ever used on it in place all day long until I remove it. And it just looks so good. So I'm going to keep this one, and I already have a backup for when I run out of it, so you know that's how much I love it. Alright, this is the Smashbox 24-Hour Photo Finish Eyeshadow Primer. It's very similar to the Milani in terms of like consistency and how well it stays on the lids. It actually performs just the exact same, but I also would never, purchase this again now that I have the Milani, because this is probably 2 times or 3 times as much as the Milani one costs. So I'm going to finish it up, but I won't repurchase it. Alright, then this is the e.l.f. Mineral Eyeshadow Primer. I'm going to get rid of this one just because it's old. It does perform really well, actually, so if you're looking for a really, really affordable option for an eyeshadow primer, I do recommend this one. It's just gotten old, but yeah, I really like it, and it still holds the shadows in place. It's just time to get rid of it, so. Alright, moving on to the face primers. The first one I have is by the brand called Temp2. And I got this in a subscription box. It is their Base Smooth and Matte Primer. But I was reading up on it, and this is supposed to be for like an airbrush system. So I am using it. I used it like probably 5 or 6 times on my face, just like squirting some of it out and putting it on my face. But I don't really notice it doing anything, so I'm just going to pass it on. I don't know why they would include something like this in a subscription box if you can't really use it the way it's meant to be used, so. Alright, this one is the Professional by Benefit. This is like a cult favorite, but I've tried it a couple times. This is just a sample size I got, and I really don't love it. It's kind of greasy, and it doesn't really fill in my pores at all, so I don't know, maybe it works for some people and just not for my skin tone, but I'm going to pass it on. Alright, this I also got in a subscription box. This is by Josie Maran. It's their Surreal Skin Argan Finishing Balm. Now, this one's kind of weird because it says you can use it under makeup and over makeup. So I tried to use it over makeup, and it just moved my makeup around. But it is a really, really beautiful primer on my skin. I don't know if it's supposed to be used like really as a primer, but it holds my makeup all day, and it gives me kind of like this soft effect, luminous finish. So I won't buy the full size because the full size is going to be really expensive because Josie Maran is not cheap. But I will use this up, and I do really like it. Alright, this I recently just picked up. This is by Catrice Cosmetics. It's their Prime and Fine Smoothing Refiner for invisible pores and lines. And I do really like this one too. I feel like it really holds my makeup in place. You get a lot of product in here because a little bit goes a really long way. So I really enjoy this one too. I think I'm definitely going to keep it and keep using it. Alright, this is the Nivea Men Sensitive Post Shave Balm. And if you're not really big here on YouTube, you're probably like, why do you have men's shave balm like as a primer? But it went crazy viral on YouTube a couple years ago because the #1 ingredient in here is glycerin, which is one of the top ingredients in most primers because glycerin is what helps kind of make that tacky feeling for the makeup to stick to on your face. So this is a really awesome primer, and I highly recommend it. You get a crap ton of product in here for a really affordable price. So go to your men's like shave section and look for this because I'm going to keep it. It's really good. The only thing I don't like is it's like super bulky, so it doesn't really fit in any of my drawers. But I'm going to keep it. It's so good. Alright, this is the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. So this one, I don't really know how I feel about it. I've never really noticed that it does a lot for me. It supposedly is a dupe for the Professional by Benefit that I'm getting rid of, but I don't know, I just think, it doesn't really smooth my pores amazingly, but it does hold my makeup all day, especially in the wintertime when I'm not as oily. In the summer when I'm oily, I cannot wear this because the silicone-based primers kind of slide around on my oily skin, so I don't wear this in the summertime, but in the winter I do like it, so I'm going to keep it for that. Alright, this is the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. I haven't even tried this one yet. I just got it in a subscription box, so I will let you guys know how I feel about this one. This is the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer, the smoothing primer. They have like 7 different kinds of these Step 1 Skin Equalizer primers. This one is the one that I wore on my wedding day. I have 2 of them. I have another sample size one as well. When I finish up this one, I'll use it. It's so good. It's good for me, especially in the summertime when I'm oily, because it does fill in my pores, but it's not that silicone consistency that tends to slide around on my skin, so I highly, highly recommend this one. Okay, this is my favorite primer right now. So this is a really tiny bottle of it. It's the Clinique Pep Start Hydro Blur Moisturizer. So it's technically a moisturizer. So it's hydrating, but it blurs pores and it mattifies. So I love this so much. I cannot recommend it enough. I just bought a full-size jar of it the other day, but you get like so much product in it. And I think Clinique, for the quality of their products, I think they're actually pretty affordable compared to other high-end brands that you can buy like at Sephora or Ulta or somewhere like that. So I highly, highly recommend this one. I'm gonna keep it for sure. And I think that's good in both the winter and the summer for me. Alright, this is the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer. It's their light infusing primer. So I tried this primer on its own as kind of like a illuminating primer back when I was more dry. So just because it's old, I'm going to get rid of it, but also I noticed that it would break me out when I used it on its own. So I kind of started mixing it in with some of my more mattifying primers, and it worked really well. So I don't know if anyone else has like noticed that problem with it, but it does look really beautiful, but I won't be repurchasing it just for that reason, and this one's old, so I'm going to get rid of it. Alright, this is the Master Prime by Face Studio Primer. This one is for blurring and redness control. I do have redness like on the lower parts of my cheeks and kind of on the high points of my cheek. I don't know if it's really rosacea, but I've kind of had it my whole life and I kind of battled with it. So I got this to try it out because green is supposed to correct redness. I didn't really notice it doing that, but it did blur my pores really well. I just don't reach for it, so I'm going to pass it on. Alright, then this is by Skindinavia. This is the Makeup Primer Spray Oil Control. I got this as like a little sample with an order on Amazon one time. So it's okay. I don't know. I don't think it's worth the full price tag for it. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. Alright, and then the last one I have is by Milani. This is their Prime Light Face Primer. It's their strobing and pore minimizing, and it's oil free. So I love this one. I actually recently just picked it up and I think it's so good. If you have oily skin or dry skin, I actually think this would work. I think this is really good for those of us that have a little bit more oily skin, like in our T-zone, but we don't want to lose, you know, the illumination or the natural luminosity that comes through in our skin, and I think that this is a really good primer for that because I do see it minimizing my pores, which is crazy because most illuminating primers can actually emphasize pores, but this one doesn't, so I highly recommend it, and it's super affordable too. I actually think I'm going to get rid of this Nivea one because I've had it for quite a while. I might repurchase it, but I just have a lot of primers to get through, so I think I'm going to get rid of this one or pass it on. Alright, so I'm going to be getting rid of 7 of my primers and keeping 9 of them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!